Before we begin, I want to give a big thank you to Rogue Theory for coming on to the channel and showcasing Time Thief's lore and archetype analysis with an additional combo. This video is incredibly high quality and took a lot of time for him to make, so if you want to support him in any way, shape, or form, 100% make sure to go to his channel, link is in the description. But with that, take it away, Mr. Rogue Theory.
Welcome back to Rogue Theory, where we explore the origins, influences, and playability of your favorite archetypes. Remember to like and subscribe to win in time the next time you play. Maybe. Today we are discussing your friendly neighborhood time traveler, Time Thief Redoer, and the archetype that supports and plays around him. The Time Thieves are comprised of 5 main deck monsters, 3 XYZ monsters, 2 spells, and 2 trap cards. Now while that number might seem off to you, the upcoming set selection 10 in the OCG boasts legacy support for the Time Thief archetype. Now while most people probably wouldn't believe that 2 pieces of legacy support would be enough to provide competitive results for the deck, against their opinion I have to point out Electromite, who provided many decks in the Pendulum variety competitive success. Now while these 2 cards differ from Electromite, at least with this deck, we know that it'll survive the test of time.
Double Iris is back, baby! Pendulum best deck!
There are times when the mind is dealt such a blow that it hides itself in insanity.
While many people believe that the Time Thieves are influenced off the hit British TV show Doctor Who, I can tell you for certain that despite this archetype first coming out in the TCG, the Time Thieves are not influenced by the English question.
Goodbye, Dorian.
The first question, the question that must never be answered, hidden in plain sight, the question you've been running from all your life. Doctor Who?
Instead, the Time Thieves are influenced by the Taiwanese manga Chronos Ruler, which as you can see features similar art style, design, and character concepts to the Time Thieves. Not only that, but if you ever happen to read the manga or watch the anime, you'll be able to better understand the concept of their gadgets that help them regulate time. Now, when it comes to the story of this archetype, like many people, I first thought it was self-contained and told entirely within its own archetype of cards. However, after careful examination, it's clear to me that the Time Thieves belong to a much bigger story, as they are one of the latest additions to the dual terminal storyline. I know it sounds crazy, but if you recall my Psyframe video which explains that the Psyframe gears are the evolved versions of the Vylon monsters, you'll know that the Psyframes escape the cataclysmic event of dual terminal. But if you look at the Psyframe driver's flavor text, you'll see a reference to Security Force, which is a new archetype debuting in Blazing Vortex. But what does that have to do with the price of butter? Well, since we can confirm that Security Force is a part of the dual terminal storyline, the new card Security Force Showdown, which features Time Thief Redoer and Security Force Officer, is also canon to the events post-dual terminal. This means that while we don't have an exact date or flowchart for the events that follow right after the fight between the Shaddolls and the Infernoids, what we do know is that humanity does survive. So, what are the Security Forces doing with the power of time travel?
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Frankly, I actually don't know, so you'll have to wait till we get some more support before I can cover them. Why are the Time Thieves going back to the year 2012? Probably to save Perpetua so that the technology she develops doesn't get abused in the future. Why is an older version of Perpetua talking to her younger self as she works on a gadget that displaces time? Probably so that she can become the Time Thief XYZ we all know and love. How come Redoer and Winder appear younger in the past? Short answer, it's time travel, just go with it. Long answer, watch the anime or read the manga 10 to 20 minutes in, and you'll have a pretty basic understanding of how it works. While I'm certain there's more you'll want to know regarding the dual terminal lore and how the Time Thieves fit into that storyline, for now you'll have to wait until we get more support in the future, or in the case of Time Thief Redoer, our past, his future.
Wait a minute, this is how it ends? There's so many questions left unanswered.
I've got something for you. A letter.
Dear Luke, if my calculations are correct, you should receive this letter at the exact moment the DeLorean vanished. I have been living happily for the past 6 months in the year 1885. The lightning bolt that... 1885? The Doc's alive! I mean, he's in the Old West, but he's alive!
Time Thief Regulator is an in-theme rescue cat who doesn't negate the effects of the monsters it summons from the deck. While that sounds amazing, the fact that this card, unlike Rescue Cat, requires itself to be the only monster on the field to use this effect makes it less than ideal, as it telegraphs your opening play and can easily be negated. However, thanks to the power of your other monsters, it's well worth the risk despite its problematic design. Time Thief Winder is one of the best cards for the Time Thief archetype, as it provides the deck with the option of being both an extender and a play starter. While primarily you'll want to summon this card off of Regulator, he has the flexibility to combo on his own by searching any card within the archetype. Thanks to this ability of his that allows you to fix your hands, there is no reason you shouldn't be running 3 of this. Time Thief Adjuster would be the best card of this entire archetype if it wasn't for the fact that you can only resolve one of her effects per turn. and because she comes with this restriction despite having a strong set of effects, she feels rather lackluster despite providing you more consistency on pure builds that inherently lack an extender. Hopefully one day she gets the errata that she needs so she can summon herself and set up your graveyard in the same turn and make this deck into the tier 1 competitor that it should be. Time Thief Bezelship is a card that you'll never want to normal summon despite its effect. While it can be an in-archetype DD Crow that banishes cards from your opponent's graveyard as a quick effect, it struggles from the basis that while it's on the field, it isn't that great, as you'd rather just use it as a material for another monster than leave it around for its utility-based effect. However, when it's in the graveyard, it acts as a decent way to extend combos by summoning itself and either providing an XYZ material or becoming graveyard disruption if you find yourself lacking another monster. Time Thief Chronocoder allows the deck the ability to play without fear of being OTK'd. While it has similarities to Bezelship in the sense of self-revival, it can instead bring itself back on either player's turn, even if it wasn't originally in the graveyard when the XYZ monster was removed from the field. Thanks to this feature, the Time Thieves have a variety of ways to control the flow of the game without having a huge board committed to the field.
My question is for Liam. What is your favorite monster?
Time Thief Redoer is without a doubt my favorite monster. Not only does he have one of the most unique interactions within the entire game by stealing cards from the top of your opponent's deck, or from his perspective, their future, but he completely encompasses what I love about this archetype.
Only fools play the hand they're dealt.
And out of all other archetypes, no other card inhibits this philosophy and makes use of your opponent's deck like he does. He can spin, he can draw, and when your opponent finally thinks that they've caught him,
"What is this?" Come on, Ibis. Did you really think stopping time would be an obstacle for me?
all this and more is what makes Time Thief Redoer.
My man.
Time Thief Double Barrel will hopefully be translated in the TCG as Time Thief Do-Over. 1, so that the name matches with Time Thief Redoer, and 2, because I thoroughly enjoy a good pun. In all seriousness, Do-Over provides the deck a way to beat over enemies and close out games with increasing permanent attack, while also having the viability to be extremely useful interruption against your opponent. Time Thief Perpetua allows the deck the ability to not only consistently trigger whatever kind of monster effect you could want, but it also gives you access to any and all monsters in your main deck by triggering both effects during the standby phase of either player's turn. Thanks to this utility, the deck can access a short but powerful snowballing advantage every turn. And thanks to the new XYZ Time Thief Do-Over, you won't be limited by the once per turn condition of Time Thief Redoer. Time Thief Startup is your average extender that summons a monster from the hand, but thanks to the fact that it is a quick play spell, it can be used on either player's turn to avoid being OTK'd. It also has an added benefit that it can attach Time Thief cards in your graveyard to your XYZ monsters by banishing itself. Thanks to this, the deck can continually trigger their monster effects even if they don't manage to get Time Thief Perpetua out on her first turn. Time Thief Hack is the card you most likely won't be playing from the entire series, but that's not due to its lack of ability. Since Time Thief Hack can only protect XYZ monsters the turn that they were special summoned, it doesn't synergize well with Redoer's return from banishment effect. Due to this, and the fact that the increased attack effect isn't often relevant, it hasn't seen competitive play since its release. But with the coming addition of a new card that might possibly act as an extender, Time Thief Hack has the potential to make a return if we can consistently make Perpetua to take advantage of her monster reviving effect. Time Thief Flyback, like every other card in the deck, revolves around your XYZ monsters. In the case of Flyback, attaching a card from your deck or hand allows you to better match up against your opponent if Redoer doesn't happen to steal the right card. While it seems lackluster thanks to the addition of Perpetua, it still has its uses since Perpetua can only attach once per turn. Not only that, but if it happens to be a card you've used previously, it can be followed up by banishing itself to attach a key combo card from your opponent's graveyard to your monsters to stop their plays or to give your monsters better effects. Time Thief Retrograde is a searchable counter trap that can negate any spell or trap card that your opponent activates. While it's often telegraphed to your opponent what you have hidden face down, it isn't any easier to deal with since Retrograde can not only negate, but it can also provide you with a piece of interruption that you didn't already have access to. In my opinion, while it's very strong, I wouldn't recommend playing more than 2, as it is dependent on you controlling an XYZ monster to use in the first place. Okay, now that we know all the cards that are currently released for the archetype, the effects of each card, and the surprising reveal that the Time Thieves are part of the dual terminal universe and storyline, we can finally speak to the competitive viability of this archetype. While at the current moment it doesn't seem like it could be considered more than Rogue, even with the addition of Time Thief Do-Over, it doesn't fall short in terms of power going first or going second. For combos today, I only have one that I think is worth showing. Time Thief Regulator can be used to end on a board with a spin, a draw, and increasing hand advantage. While that doesn't seem like much, the fact that you can have up to 4 other cards in your hand to further combo or hand trap your opponent is enough of a reason to consider picking up this deck. Here's the list that I'm currently playing around with. While there's many variations of this deck that you can play, since the reveal of Time Thief Adjuster in Selection 10, I personally am favoring a pure build, which takes advantage of the Time Thief's extraordinary ability of recovery to survive against the typical going second blowout cards of the current format. Now, while you can easily mix and match other archetypes like Phantom Knights, Crusadia, or Zodiac to make the deck more consistent, the Time Thieves, unlike Zodiac, don't require the power of a god to stand the test of time.
Hi guys, it's Rogue Theory here. Sorry about the delay between my last video and this one here. I've just been feeling under the weather for the past month, and so it's been really hard to get audio and vocals out at an acceptable and appreciative manner on my own part. That's why it might sound a little weird or a little odd at certain points, and just this was the best that I could really do without delaying this video for another week. But hopefully I can get another video to you guys out within a week's time. Oh, and if you want to access the monthly polls where you get to suggest what archetypes are next, feel free to support me on Patreon in the link down below. And as always, this is Rogue Theory, passing turn.